Hey everybody, Ragnarok here, going to be playing another 15-15 game. Let's see, the last two I played as black, so maybe I'll get paired up as for a white game. But either way, hopefully it's a good game, and hopefully we learn something here. Let me know what you guys think about this style as well. I think it's transparent. I am white, but I think it kind of helps me to get my thoughts out there, let you guys know that I'm not the best player. I'm trying to learn, and I'm open to suggestions. If you're better than me watching this channel, please help me out. So I'm going to play the Italian game. That's the game I usually like to play. Knight is attacking this pawn. Pretty standard opening theory. We're defending. Taking this pawn actually is a little bit of a threat. I almost wonder if I can play c3 then d4. That could be an idea. Kind of force him to exchange. If I do this, does he... No, he can't come out yet. Never tried that variation, but the point is if I go here, I think his queen is coming out to g5. c3 takes... Whoops. Takes, queen takes, knight comes out. I can probably play d4 then. I'll try it. I don't know this line. I don't see this opening that often, but I like to at least see what happens here. Okay, queen out. If I exchange, he's going to develop this, and then I have to slow down my attack. So I think interesting is if I push d4 anyway, he takes, pawn takes. If he takes back, I take, and then he develops. I don't know. Let's think for a second. d4 opens up my bishop. Queen exchange takes. I could also just back up. He is blocking his key square for his knight. Maybe I could just go back. There's no rush, I don't think. Let's try that. He's blocking his key square for his knight. It's got to be a drawback to that. I can bring this knight here. Okay, that's not a huge threat. It is blocking d4 though, but I can place b4, kick him away, get a little bit of space over here. No threats here at all. Let's go away from the center. He's going to go here. I'm going to develop this piece, get a little bit of space. Do I want to do that? Yeah, let's try it. I'm blocking the checkmate ideas with my queen. I could reroute this way too. It's a little different than a normal Guico pianissimo that I like to play. It's this formation, except there's a knight here, but he's already exchanged it. And this knight's here, not the queen. So this guy is, what, 1670, so kind of explains why a little bit. How best to go about this? I could just play it slow, d3. That kind of makes sense. d3 to be able to bring my knight to this square. That's a good spot for it. Let's try that. Also opens up my bishop. So once my knight is here, I can develop with a good tempo on the queen, I think. Okay, let's see. Just continue with my plan, I think. I think he's thinking of coming here. Since I want to castle that way, I don't necessarily want to go there. I could also bring this back and bring my knight there. Still hasn't developed his knight. He's probably going to castle queenside. But I've got a lot of space on this side, so I don't know if that's a good idea. Drop this bishop back. Try to come in the center. Because I do have this route to go here with an idea on there. I can always kick him away from defending that square. Okay, interesting. If I take, he'll take with queen. Possibly can push d5. I could also push this, weaken this. Yeah, it's very similar to Guico Pianissimo, but just different. It's very strange. Let's take and develop my knight in the center. Aiming to double these pawns, bring my bishop out. I don't think he'll trade the knight for bishop or allow it, but who knows? So this is going to quickly go into an endgame. Well, I guess mid-game still, but let's get my knight here. Try to reposition it on this outpost. He'll probably go back. And if I go here, he has c6. But then I can go this outpost, threatening to fork. Yeah, his queen's just in a weird spot. But there's still a lot of pawns going on, so it's not like it's bad or anything. It's just different, I guess. Alright, that's even weirder. I can take here, he takes bishop out. He's aiming this pawn. I could just castle. Try to play on the weakness in the center. Or just take first. If he takes... No, if I take there, he has this move first. So I think I have to castle. Yeah, because if I drop back to defend that, he takes bishop. He doesn't have a light squared bishop anymore, so he's not going to go there. He might come here, here maybe, or here to attack this. I don't know, castling seems fine. He'll probably drop his bishop back now. If he develops, I just take the bishop, go long game with my bishop over his knight. There's still a lot of pawns on the board. So his knight could be better earlier, but from here, there's not too many places to jump. This blocks any outposts. Yeah, my goal is to take here, develop this bishop to attack that piece, that pawn that's going to be doubled. Yeah, he's just allowing it. If he goes here, there's still nowhere to jump. So let's take there. Simplify things. I'm just going to develop. Only way to defend this pawn is to do that move, but that's just a bad knight right now. I could open up the center, or challenge the center. I could also do d4, now that his knight's not there. If I do d4, queen takes here. I think f4 is best. His knight is stuck, his rook is out of the action. Yeah, let's go f4. Yeah, he doesn't have a dark squared bishop, so this guy's going to be pretty unchallenged for a while. I could even now bring this over. If pawn takes, rook takes, get the other rook over. because I think this is probably fine. I mean, trading off the bishop might not be great for that knight. That knight is not good. He's 2 moves away from being in a square that doesn't even move anywhere, so there's nowhere good for his knight. This isn't a good idea, I don't think. I don't need to keep that, take this doubled up pawn, which is very weak, because these are very weak. So let's try to keep that going. I mean, he might play f6. I think if he does that, I have to be nervous. Okay. I was going to say I have to be nervous about too many dark squared pawns for my bishop, kind of limiting activity. So I think rook takes is better, because I have ideas of going here. He can't attack my rook right away at all. So let's start with that. I can even push this now if I want to. That looks really bad. Ideas of here and taking this pawn. Probably want to bring this rook in action first. Kind of tie his rook to this square. Otherwise I'm trading 2 rooks for queen and pawn, and then I have a lot more activity than him, so I think I'm better off. So let's bring this rook over first. Yeah, I mean, there's ideas here. He kind of saved himself a tempo there, I think, but where's he going with that move? I can push center. I can bring my queen here. A little slow. But the idea being rook here, pawn takes, queen check. Maybe not queen check first. Maybe, so let's see. So if my queen is here, I have a threat of rook, pawn takes. Actually, no, the queen needs to be here first. So maybe, what if I bring my queen out here first? Nah, I'd rather be here. Let's triple up on here, kind of make the illusion that I'm going for that pawn. See how he reacts. So we're tripled up. This pawn is weak. I don't think he can take, or I don't think he can push, because, I mean, can he push? No, right now, so that queen helps block that push. I could just take the pawn. Threat is coming here, and then rook, pawn takes, bishop takes. Yeah, he's not blocking it. I can let him take this, I think. Move over. What if king moves? In any case, I don't think, so let's just say, if I go here, pawn takes, he's still 1, 2, 3 moves away, and then my rook has it covered anyway. So if I go here, pawn takes, rook here, if queen moves, I take pawn, probably with bishop. Although rook is pretty forcing. Here, take, rook. I don't know where the queen goes if he doesn't take, but if he takes, well, he can't take at that point. Let's try it. Rook over. Just slowly maneuvering. I mean, the reason this seems to be working is I don't think there's anything really good. He can't do that because I come in here. He's weakening this square if he pushes the pawn. And I don't think that does that solve the threat? Rook here. I could also just take this pawn. Rook here. No, he can't take now. So that forces his queen away. If queen goes away, I have bishop takes. Rook has to cover. I at least get a pawn out of this. I think this is fine. Yeah, pawn can't take now because it is pinned. If he comes up, I think I'll just block. No. If he comes up, I just take pawn with rook. Queen takes, pawn takes, pawn takes. That pawn won't get far. He's not being supported at all. He's attacking this piece now. But now my rook's under attack. Do I have queen sack, king takes, check? I don't think that works. I think just take this pawn is fine. Because if he takes this pawn, bishop here, queen and checkmate ideas. I'm taking the piece, supporting it. I'll double my pawns, but have more activity in the center. If he takes, doubled. I have this to attack both of these. Again, this pawn is not going far. He's blocked off. I would go here first if he moves. I take the pawn. Now he has two doubled A pawns. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'm playing this perfectly, but I'm playing it logically, I guess. If he takes this pawn, bishop, attacking queen and checkmate. He can't take bishop because rook takes queen. If he defends checkmate, queen goes down. Now I've done this because he can't take the rook. Now the queen is protecting the rook. If he takes here, double pawns. But just more activity than he has. I'll have two center pawns, three really, because this pawn will be gone. Yeah. Whoa, that's a blunder. I don't think he realized it right away. Yeah. Let's look back because that is an opening. I don't think this guy played it correctly. Let me turn the engine off. I don't think he played it correctly, but it is an opening, so it's worth knowing how it works. C3 was a decent idea. The queen was just first mistake. I mean, go to ragchess.com and look at those opening principles. It's just moving the queen too early. Yeah, yes, I did it too, but mine has more of a purpose than his. I get if that justifies it. I feel like I have more activity here. Developed bishop, double attack on the f7 pawn. So it almost justifies it in my mind. I mean, I have so much more space already. This was slow, but this is strong. This pawn structure is pretty strong. That's weakening over here, which is what I tried to realize with my bishop later. Just developing my knight is fine. This I wasn't sure about. But him allowing me to take this bishop was just bad. It created a weakness. I immediately tried to exploit it. I mean, he didn't even have to do that, did he? I would just let that pawn go. But his knight is so weak because the queen limited his good square. I mean, here and then coming there would have been much better. I think he could have even done that. Yeah, he could have just developed here. You know, if I try the same ideas. I don't know. Doesn't seem like a way around it. Just opening up this file was pretty good for me. Just developing. My plan's obvious, slowly moving over. A little too late at this point. So like if he had played it out, bishop takes something here. This was my plan. If he defends or moves, I'm getting this pawn. That is too awkwardly placed. I have ideas of renewing this threat. But from here, yeah, here's the example. He saves this, checkmate. Saves checkmate, queen goes down. But yeah, I mean, this looks like a superior endgame to me. Two pawns, the bishop, well, three pawns, because this is going to take eventually. Well, like I said in the game, this here first. Because I want to block him from going here and defending this pawn. I could dislodge it, but so from here, this is a goner. You'd have to do something like this. I mean, I'm going to have passed pawns. That's not going to be good for him. Yeah, I mean, here, push these pawns up. Everything goes up. So, yeah, interesting. Interesting game. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll definitely be uploading more of these. Rating was a little over the place. I'm almost 2,000, and he was about almost 1,700. So mismatch. Sometimes you don't always get the similar ratings, but you know, interesting game to learn from. Regardless, I do actually want to check the computer real quick to see if C3, this move, is frowned upon. What does it suggest? It suggests taking the knight. It gives me a +1 advantage. Some of the moves it's playing out. It's the line. This is called, let's see, the Schilling-Kostic Gambit. Yeah, I've seen it played before. And it said C3 is an inaccuracy. I kind of understand why. Queen is the line. I still have a slight advantage. It says D4 works here. Let's take a look at it. I don't know, that looks like a gambit back to me, because if he goes here, right? It gives me +2? What's good about this gambit that I don't know? That looks like a blunder. Okay, now that. This is weird. It's playing out in like an automatic win for me almost. But that's not a line I would imagine. Just kind of playing it slow. H6 didn't like. The knight it didn't like. Yeah, I probably could have done this first. I was worried about this pin. I didn't really voice that in the game because if we exchange, I have weird pawns, but I guess I get some compensation for that. Didn't like Queen G6. I mean, I didn't like that either. He didn't defend the bishop, so I took it. It likes queen here. I like activating my bishop, connecting the rooks a little bit better. Rook C8 was just not good, in my opinion. Yeah, queen moving over is an idea. I mean, this is kind of like a distraction move. It makes you think you're going for this pawn. But I was just to the point. Let me just get over here and see what I can do. Yeah, it didn't like this. It liked this better. Let me see why. If he comes in here. Yeah, I don't see the threat from here as much. It's a little weirder to me. I don't think I understand that entire idea as much. And then just blunder, yeah. Alright, well I hope you guys enjoyed this, and we'll see you in the next one.